Hey you guys, it's Sweetie. And so I wanted to do this video talking about the whole point of what Sweetie Consulting is. So as you know, Sweetie Consulting is all about conscious living. And there are many aspects of conscious living, but in general, it's living in awareness of the spiritual and physical aspects of life and being and how the two intertwine. And within that comes a whole lot of realizations about religion, government, even the way our society is structured from the ground up. And so, in my own journey, I've discovered that I don't like it. And I would rather start something that is new and my own than continue to support something that I know is completely damaged beyond repair. And so, with that, I started first Be a Sweetie, which was a nonprofit organization, or is, that teaches people food safety and gardening, right? And that got started, and it really didn't get too far. I had got some land and was trying to set up a community garden, but what I found was I probably should have gotten the support and the physical bodies to help that I needed before I went and actually got the actual space for land and all of those things, equipment. Like I had all of that stuff. So with this venture, what I'm doing is I've started, like I said, Sweetie Consulting to teach conscious living, which is self-awareness and self-reliance. So if you go to the online school, you can find different classes. And if you go to the website, you can find guides, all that fit concepts of conscious living. So basically, my whole point is to create a life, what I'm creating, not to create, but I'm creating a life that will be self-sustaining. I wrote notes if you're wondering what I'm looking at. I always have a notebook for everything. I'm very organized. Meaning I will not need an income to fill my basic needs. I don't know if you've heard of an earthship, but Mike Reynolds, I don't know if he's really Michael, but Mike Reynolds created a way of living that is self-sustaining, like 100%. There is rainwater catchment involved. Is catchment a word? I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. Solar panels and greenhouse. And pretty much the house heats and cools itself. The water is collected on site and no water leaves your site. The power is all through solar panels. And if you're wondering, yes, you can get solar panels that will support TVs, dishwashers, washers and dryers. Like the earthships all have these things in them, bathtub, showers, like bedrooms. Like it's a house, just a house built in a way that is self-sustaining, which means there is no need for plumbing or electricity, like for city grid plumbing and electricity, and even food to a certain degree, because the front of the home is a greenhouse. I saw one video where the guy was picking bananas on Christmas morning. So it's snowing outside and he's picking bananas, So it's that efficient. And with me being able to create my life that is self-sustaining, the income that comes in from Sweetie Consulting will allow me to grow sovereignty for other people, which means I'll be able to bring them onto this land and help them set up earthships, and or if the person doesn't want to live in what I'm going to call Freedom Town, or is that what I wrote? Freedom Town. If you don't want to live there, you can be an off-site community member, which means we would be able to help you to make your house more self-sustaining, depending on what is allowed where you live. Because when you get into like on grid living, you get into permits and all of these rules and things which make it impossible to put up stuff like wind turbines, and certain places don't allow people to have gardens and stuff like that. So it just gets a little different when it comes to legislature. But this won't be the case in Freedom Town. And you might be asking why, and that is because I've learned how to go around that. I've learned about what is called a land patent, which basically means all rights are reserved for you. You are the sovereign owner of that land, which makes it a no trespassing type of space, even for government. And it also puts you in a position to have an electoral vote, which is the vote that counts. So I have a whole a whole mission and purpose here, to create this self-sustaining life. So I'm gonna just go through some of the things that I have written here for you guys. It costs roughly between 15 and 20,000 to build an earthship. Now, of course, it depends on how many luxuries you have, how big it is, and all of those kinds of things. Like I'm thinking we'll probably take storage containers, keeping with the reuse, reduce, recycle. We'll take storage containers and use them as the foundations for our earth ships. But yeah, so we're looking at about 15 to 20,000 per earth ship. In order to get a land patent, it can be 160 acres or less. So you can't have more than 160 acres, which is way more than what we will need. The plan in specific is educate myself, educate you, will educate them, and build a better us. That's pretty much the what I'm doing right now, as you can see. So the goal is $50,000, and that will buy the land and be able to establish the first earth ship, which will be probably my earth ship. And then every year, as the money comes in, depending on what we make, we'll be able to add another earth ship to the property. I want to get to some really nice details. So I've been also looking at other what they call eco villages, which is what this would be considered.